this is going to spread everywhere because viruses are life forms and people don't realize this. So they think there's this like invisible enemy. They can't see it. If they can't see it, don't take it seriously. Hello.
How you doing?
Yeah, good.
Is this your quarantine bubble?
This is my home office. I'm one of these people that's like, quarantine is my normal life. You know? So I'm very happy in my home office.
You've got an interesting background, interesting, I guess, kind of journey to where we are today, which is you as a thriving sci-fi screenwriter. Also, very sort of purpose-driven creative.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. So I was born into the farmlands, Durbanville, South Africa. But I was fascinated with film and TV and the stories that were coming out of mostly the USA, which is what we were exposed to. I really want to be a storyteller, but it's like, how the hell do I get out of the farmland, right? Because everybody's telling me you can't do it. It's a pipe dream. So I kind of sat there seriously as a 5-year-old going, okay, how do I get over to the USA? What skill set can I develop here? And science was sort of logical. It was something that was easy for me to do. And you knew that it would open up doors. And if I was really, really good at science, like, PhD level science, I could go overseas. So in terms of science, the next thought was, why don't I do epidemiology? Which in terms of infectious disease, that covers virology, microbiology, parasitology. So that's really what I wanted to do. I actually specialize in finding new species of bacteria because all the antibiotics that we have on the market actually come from other bacteria. And if you want new ones, which the world is in desperately of need of, you've got to get new species because they have new genetic material, which means they make new antibiotics. And to do that, you have to go to extreme environments, like environments untapped by mankind. So I found myself finding new antibiotics to treat diseases like tuberculosis, but also within the space technology realm and the people that work in those industries, and whether it was like satellite design or rocketry or whatever, these guys are like really big dreamers too.
I think there's something really, really cool as well, just knowing that you've got this background in infectious diseases. After knowing you for a while, I didn't realize that you had that kind of deep expertise in infectious diseases. Obviously, given the state of the world at the moment and the most topical thing in our lives, and the reason that we're not having this conversation face to face in a studio with COVID-19, I guess can you explain to me again, as the dumbest man in the room, like what is it, how the hell it works? And why there is the need for, self-isolation, social distancing and things like that. Can you give me the COVID-19 for dummies?
So when I saw this pandemic starting in China, and honestly, we knew China was a threat last year already, we knew something was going to happen. And as soon as we could see that it wasn't under control, it was like, okay, this is going to spread everywhere. Viruses are like anything else on this planet. They want to reproduce. They want to survive. And to do that, they need to find a host. And the way that viruses do this can differ between the different families. Something like Ebola, it tends to cure its host really, really quickly, which is why in African villages, you can just contain the village and it's done. But something like coronavirus, it's based on the common cold. Which goes around the globe annually, right? And nowhere in human history have we ever had a cure for the common cold. So to know that the common cold is now this level of pathogenic is extremely, extremely scary. Back when I was doing the HIV work and it was the peak of the pandemic, everyone was instructed, we need to cure this, we need to bring down the death toll. But when scientists were looking at this thing, everything they tried, like every drug or every defense they thought would work in the human body, this virus was adapting to it in an exquisite intellectual way and very, very quickly. And by the time they were like, okay, maybe certain things would work, there were 12 different strains of this thing. So if you took down HIV 1 and 2, the next 10 would come in potentially, and you got to start over and start over. So that's why eventually they gave up to a large extent, and it just became normalized that people die of HIV. And my fear is that this will eventually happen in the next couple of years with this, because this virus is very, very smart. Again, because it needs hosts to spread and reproduce, we have to have social distancing.
Staying on the same topic, but flipping hats to your sci-fi writing hat. If we're using sci-fi as the kind of as the basis here, and saying that this is following the formulaic plot of a sci-fi narrative, how do we get over it?
I mean, the interesting thing is, like, we are living history right now. And people like you are trying to get the stories out right now as this is happening. Like, it's very relevant. But after, let's just say, quarantine period is over, and the pandemic will still be going on to a particular level, people are going to start telling stories. And it won't even actually be in a sci-fi context. It's going to be medical shows and legal dramas, and everyone's going to have to make a decision of, we are in this post-quarantine because of COVID world. How does that impact the stories we're telling? How does that impact our characters? Like, I know for my book series, there's another 2 books, and it won't change any of that, because I know how it's programmed to go. And I know that it's painting a sort of dystopian world, which is what most sci-fi warns us about regarding the genetic revolution. I did not think that so soon we would be in a global situation like this. I think it's good that globally the governments got scared really quickly, because you need to take this seriously. It's just fascinating to me how the economies have fallen so quickly. And, you could argue that the economy is man-made. So why can't we use this as like a Star Trek utopia, where you go, economies don't actually matter anymore, currencies don't matter anymore. Let's look at individuals contributing to just making the planet better overall. Let's take this time to reflect about ourselves and go, what do we value? How can we be better? How can we make our communities better? It's a very utopian thought process, and I really hope it goes that way at some point. But it's just going to be power games for the foreseeable future. And if people want to save the economy over lives, that speaks volumes, and it's really sad.